Before we start, kindly subscribe to my channel and tell me, where in the universe are you watching from? Lucas Vance groaned as he shuffled through the dark corridor of the Ralixan, a massive Vraxian warship floating in deep space. He had been sent here as a diplomat, but so far, his job mostly involved avoiding grumpy, 7-foot-tall warriors who thought diplomacy meant throwing knives at each other. And now, of course, the ship was shaking. "What now?" he muttered, rubbing his temples. He had been asleep for exactly 23 minutes before the alarm started blaring. The control panel beside him flickered red. Unstable power signature detected. Energy fluctuation in stasis chamber 03. Lucas sighed. Great, just what I needed. He followed the blinking lights until he reached a heavy reinforced door. The Vraxians loved their dramatic doors. This one looked like it could hold back a small moon. Lucas tapped the panel, and the door groaned open with a hiss. Inside, icy mist curled through the air, swirling around a massive stasis pod. A tall, oval-shaped chamber made of dark metal, covered in glowing Vraxian runes. Its glass surface was cracked, and inside, a shadowy figure shifted. Lucas took a cautious step forward. "But hello?" A deep, throaty growl rumbled from inside the pod. That was not a normal response. The glass shattered. A figure lunged forward. A towering woman with crimson skin, black-tipped horns, and piercing golden eyes that locked onto Lucas like a predator spotting prey. Her long, jet-black hair swept over her shoulders, and her muscular frame pulsed with power. She wore only a battle-forged chestplate and warrior's wrappings, but it was clear this was no ordinary soldier. Lucas froze. The woman took a sharp breath, scenting the air like a hunter. Her eyes burned with something primal, something fierce. Then, she pointed directly at him. "You," she growled, voice husky from years of sleep. "You have awakened me." Lucas blinked. "Yeah, sorry about that." Her eyes narrowed. Then, to his utter horror, she dropped to one knee in front of him and slammed her fist against her chest in a warrior's salute. "I am Salvera of the Bloodfang clan," she declared. "You have reawakened my spirit. By ancient law, you are now my battle spouse." Lucas's brain short-circuited. "I'm sorry. What?" Lucas stared at Salvera, trying to process her words. Battle spouse. That sounded an awful lot like marriage, and he was pretty sure he hadn't signed up for that. Lucas raised a hand cautiously. "I think there's been a mistake." Salvera tilted her head, her golden eyes narrowing. "Are you rejecting the bond?" Lucas had no idea what that meant, but based on the way her claws flexed, it didn't sound good. "I'm just saying," he said quickly, forcing a nervous smile. "Maybe we should talk about this before making any big decisions." Salvera's expression remained unreadable. Then, to his horror, she reached out, grabbed his arm, and effortlessly lifted him off the ground. Lucas let out a very undignified yelp. "Dulu, what are you doing?" Salvera studied him like a scientist examining a fragile test subject. "You are small." Lucas bristled. "I'm average for a human, thanks." "You are also soft." She poked his shoulder. "And weak." Lucas scowled. "Okay, rude." She ignored him. "But you are clever," she mused. "You awakened me. That is a sacred act. By Vraxian tradition, our fates are now entwined." Lucas groaned. He had no idea what waking her up actually meant, but if he didn't handle this carefully, he was probably going to die. "Look," he said, raising his hands, "I respect your culture, really. But humans don't do battle marriages." Salvera's brows knitted together. "Then how do you claim your mates?" Lucas coughed. "Well, first we date." "Date," she repeated, as if the word was foreign. "Yeah, you know. Get to know each other, go to dinner, not immediately declare lifelong warrior bonds." Salvera's tail flicked behind her, eyes thoughtful. "Strange," she muttered, "but if that is the human way, then I shall learn it." Lucas blinked. "Wait, what?" She set him down, standing to her full height. "I will honor your custom. We shall date. Then I will claim you." Lucas's stomach dropped. The doors behind them suddenly slammed open, and 4 massive Vraxian warriors stormed in. Their eyes immediately locked onto Zalvera. Commander Zalvera, one barked, "You have returned." Zalvera turned to them, standing tall. "Yes, and this," she gestured to Lucas, "is my battle spouse." Lucas choked. The warriors stared at him. One of them, a hulking brute with dark green skin, folded his arms. He squinted. "That is a human." Zalvera nodded. "Yes." A long silence followed. Then, all four warriors suddenly cheered, pounding their fists against their chests in salute. "A human battle spouse," one roared. "Truly, she has chosen an exotic mate." "Is he strong?" another asked. Lucas opened his mouth to say no, but Zalvera cut in. "He is clever." The warriors nodded approvingly. Lucas groaned. He had no idea how he was going to get out of this. Lucas sat stiffly in a massive Vraxian hall, feeling very out of place. The walls were carved with glowing red symbols, and torches the size of trees flickered with blue fire. Around him, dozens of massive warriors feasted, slamming their fists on the table and drinking something that smelled like jet fuel. And right next to him, Zalvera sat proudly, arms crossed, watching him like a hawk. Lucas swallowed hard. He had no idea how he got here. One moment, he was waking up an alien warrior. The next, he was being paraded through the ship as Zalvera's new battle spouse. Now, he was stuck at an engagement feast with a bunch of warriors who thought he was some kind of prize. A massive Vraxian elder, his horns adorned with silver rings, stood and raised his cup. "Tonight, we celebrate the awakening of Zalvera." The warriors roared in approval, slamming their mugs together. "And her battle spouse, the clever human." Lucas gave an awkward wave. "Bah, hi." The warriors cheered again. Someone threw a spear into the ceiling. Lucas leaned toward Zalvera. "Is this normal?" She nodded. "Yes, it is a great honor." Lucas eyed the spear. "Sure, honor." The elder continued. "But before this union is truly sealed, the human must prove his worth." Lucas blinked. "Wait, what?" The warriors clapped excitedly. The Zalvera leaned back, interested. "Yes, a trial. This is tradition." Lucas groaned. "Of course it is." The elder grinned. "He will complete 3 challenges to show his strength, skill, and loyalty." Lucas raised a hand. Quick question. What happens if I fail?" The elder chuckled. "Then the marriage is rejected, and you will be thrown into the pit of beasts." Lucas paled. "The what?" Zalvera smirked. "Do not worry. I will avenge you if you die." "That's not comforting." The elder clapped his hands. The first trial, the drink of fire. A warrior stepped forward, carrying a massive metal mug. It was filled with a bubbling, glowing liquid that occasionally sparked. Lucas stared at it. "Is that safe?" The warrior shrugged. "Not for weaklings." The entire room watched him. Zalvera raised a brow, waiting. Lucas sighed. "Well, here goes nothing." He grabbed the mug and took a small sip. His throat caught fire. His brain went white. Lucas slapped the table, choking. "Why does it burn like lava?" The warriors cheered. Zalvera looked impressed. "You only coughed 3 times. That is acceptable." Lucas wiped his eyes. "Great. Only 2 more ways to die." The elder laughed. "Next, the trial of blades." Lucas's stomach dropped. "That sounds bad." The warriors moved the tables, clearing the floor. A massive Vraxian swordsman stepped forward, holding 2 curved daggers. "Defend yourself, human." Lucas stood frozen. With what?" A dagger was tossed at his feet. Lucas picked it up reluctantly. "I just want to remind everyone, I am a diplomat." The warrior charged. Lucas panicked. At the last second, he ducked, and the warrior swung over his head. Thinking fast, Lucas grabbed a nearby plate and hurled it at the warrior's face. It hit with a loud clang. The warrior stumbled back, dazed. The hall went silent. Then, cheers. Zalvera smirked. "Clever." Lucas wheezed. "That was luck." The elder grinned. Final trial, the dance of devotion. Lucas froze. "The what?" The Xalvera stood and grabbed his arm. "You must dance." Lucas's eyes widened. "Oh, no, 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 no." The music started, and Lucas had no choice but to dance. Lucas stood frozen as deep drums echoed through the Vraxian hall. The warriors stomped their feet, creating a heavy, pulsing rhythm that made the floor shake. Xalvera stood in front of him, arms crossed, waiting. Lucas swallowed hard. "Just to be clear, if I mess this up, am I still getting thrown into the pit of beasts?" The Xalvera nodded. "Most likely." Lucas groaned. "Great." A warrior clapped him on the back, nearly knocking him over. "Do not fear, human. The dance of devotion is simple." Lucas doubted that very much. The warriors stepped back, creating a circle around him, and Xalvera. The drums grew louder. A Vraxian flutist joined in, playing a high-pitched, almost eerie tune. Then, without warning, Xalvera moved. She leaped forward, spinning in a sharp, fluid motion. Her golden eyes gleamed as she stomped her foot, sending a shockwave through the ground. Then she snapped her gaze to Lucas, waiting. Lucas blinked. Oh, that was his cue. Okay, here we go," he muttered. He moved his feet, trying to match the rhythm. It wasn't pretty. It was stiff, awkward, and vaguely embarrassing. The warriors tilted their heads. The Xalvera frowned. "You danced like a wounded sand lizard." Lucas threw up his hands. "I told you, I'm a diplomat, not a dancer." Xalvera sighed. Then, before he could react, she grabbed his arm and pulled him forward. Lucas yelped, "Wait, wait." She twirled him. The warriors roared with laughter. Lucas stumbled but somehow stayed on his feet. Okay, fine. He could do this. He took a deep breath and focused. If this was a Vraxian dance, then maybe he needed to think like a Vraxian. Xalvera stomped her foot. Lucas copied her. She spun sharply. Lucas did his best to turn without falling. Xalvera gave him a sharp look. He braced himself for an insult, but instead, she nodded. The warriors cheered. Lucas let out a huge breath. Okay, maybe he wasn't doing terrible. The drums beat faster. Xalvera suddenly lunged at him. Lucas's brain short-circuited. Was this part of the dance, or was he about to die? Acting on pure instinct, he ducked. Xalvera twisted in midair, landing right behind him. Lucas spun, breathless. The warriors stomped their feet in approval. Xalvera smirked. Not bad, human. Lucas gulped. Glad you think so, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Xalvera didn't reply. Instead, she grabbed his wrist and pulled him into a final spin. The drums boomed one last time. Then, silence. Lucas stumbled to a stop, completely out of breath. Xalvera stood tall beside him, unfazed. The warriors stared. Then, all at once, they erupted into cheers. Lucas blinked. Wait, did I win? The elder warrior grinned. You did not fail. Lucas sagged with relief. I'll take it. Xalvera smirked. You are full of surprises, human. Lucas rubbed his face. Yeah, well, let's just hope I don't have to prove myself again anytime soon. The elder chuckled. Actually, Lucas tensed. Oh no. Now comes the wedding ceremony. Lucas's stomach dropped. The EWHAA. Lucas stared at the elder, heart pounding. Hold on, he said, raising a hand. Did you just say wedding ceremony? The elder nodded, pleased. Yes, you passed the trials. The bond shall now be sealed before the clan. Lucas let out a nervous laugh. Oh, that's great, really. But humans don't usually get married after one night. Xalvera frowned. Your customs are truly inefficient. Lucas turned to her. Xalvera, you cannot be serious about this. She tilted her head. Why not? You proved yourself. It is done. Lucas groaned. Yeah, but I didn't mean to. The warriors chuckled. One clapped Lucas on the back. Do not worry, human. Vraxian unions are simple. Lucas highly doubted that. The elder raised his arms. Let the ceremony begin. Oh, no. Drums started again. Warriors stomped their feet in rhythm. Zalvera grabbed Lucas's wrist and pulled him toward a large stone platform at the center of the hall. "Wait, wait, wait," Lucas yelped. She dragged him up the steps like he weighed nothing. A warrior stepped forward, holding a ceremonial blade with glowing red symbols carved into it. He presented it to Zalvera with deep reverence. Lucas's stomach sank. "Why is there a knife?" Zalvera turned to him, calm as ever. "It is tradition. We mark the bond with a cut." Lucas went pale. "I'm sorry, what H8? Zalvera sighed, as if explaining something simple to a child. "A small wound, a warrior's promise." Lucas stepped back. "Nope, nope, nope, nope." Zalvera arched a brow. "Are you afraid?" "Yes." The warriors laughed. The elder smiled. "A cautious mate, he shall keep you well balanced, Zalvera." Lucas groaned. "Why is nobody taking this seriously?" Zalvera turned to him fully. "You are overthinking. I will go first." Before Lucas could protest, she sliced her palm with the blade. The wound was shallow, but golden blood beaded on her skin. She raised her hand, showing the warriors. They cheered. Zalvera looked at Lucas expectantly. "Your turn." Lucas stared at the blade. "Nope, absolutely not." But Zalvera had saved his life. Twice, actually. She had respected his customs, kind of. And even though this whole thing was a mess, she wasn't forcing him. She was waiting. Lucas sighed. "You owe me for this." Before he could talk himself out of it, he grabbed the knife and made a tiny cut on his palm. Zalvera smirked. "That was barely a scratch." Lucas scowled. "It counts." The elder stepped forward, grinning. "It is done. The bond is sealed." The warriors cheered again, stomping their feet in approval. Lucas let out a slow breath. Okay, it's over." Then the elder spoke again. "Now, the kiss of unity." Lucas froze. "The what?" Zalvera turned to him, eyes gleaming. "It is another tradition." Lucas's brain short-circuited. Zalvera stepped closer. The warriors chanted. Lucas took a step back. "Wait, wait, wait." Zalvera grabbed his collar and kissed him. Lucas's brain completely shut down. The warriors roared. The elder laughed. "May your bond bring strength and many victories." Lucas was too stunned to speak. Zalvera pulled back, studying his face. "You look dazed." Lucas blinked. "I just got married to an alien warlord. I think I'm allowed to be dazed." Zalvera smirked. "Then you better adjust quickly, battle spouse." Lucas groaned. He was so doomed. Lucas sat in stunned silence as the Vraxian warriors continued their celebration. Drums pounded, torches flared, and warriors cheered for their new battle spouse. Meanwhile, Lucas was still processing the fact that he was now married to an alien warlord. Zalvera sat beside him, looking completely at ease. She sipped from a metal cup filled with something probably toxic and watched the festivities like this was just another Tuesday. Lucas leaned toward her. "So, is there any way to, undo this?" Zalvera turned to him, raising an eyebrow. "Undo?" Lucas forced a laugh. "Yeah, like an annulment? A divorce? A whoops, this was a mistake clause." Zalvera tilted her head, considering. "A Vraxian union is for life. There is no undoing." Lucas choked on air. "What?" Zalvera shrugged. "Unless one of us falls in battle. But that would be dishonorable." Lucas paled. "You mean my only way out is dying?" Zalvera smirked. "Or proving yourself unworthy. But after tonight, that will be difficult." Lucas groaned and dropped his head onto the table. "I am so doomed." Before he could spiral further, a warrior slammed a large plated dish in front of him. Lucas lifted his head and immediately regretted it. The plate contained something that looked very alive. It had tentacles. It was still moving. Lucas leaned back. "Bah, what is that?" The warrior grinned. "Your wedding feast." Lucas glanced at Zalvera. "Do I have to eat it?" Zalvera nodded. "Of course, it is tradition." Lucas muttered. I hate Vraxian traditions. Zalvera's golden eyes gleamed. You will learn to love them. Lucas sighed and picked up a utensil that looked more like a weapon than a fork. With deep regret, he stabbed one of the tentacles. It twitched. Lucas nearly threw it across the room. Oh, nope, nope. The warriors laughed. One patted him on the shoulder. You are entertaining, human. Glad someone thinks so, Lucas muttered. Zalvera leaned in. You should eat. You will need strength for the night. Lucas paused mid-bite. What do you mean the night? Zalvera took another sip of her drink. The marriage is not complete until the final ritual. Lucas swallowed very slowly. And that is? Zalvera smirked. The trial of survival. Lucas blinked. That sounds like a very bad name for a wedding ritual. The elder warrior clapped his hands, cutting off their conversation. It is time. Lucas tensed. Time for what? Zalvera stood. To be tested, of course. Lucas sighed. Of course. The warriors led them through a massive stone corridor. Lucas's nerves only got worse when he saw burn marks on the walls, claw scratches on the floor, and what looked like dried blood. Lucas slowed his steps. Hey, just checking. This isn't one of those fight-to-the-death things, is it? Zalvera gave him a look. What kind of people do you think we are? Lucas exhaled in relief. Then Zalvera smirked. It is only a fight until unconsciousness ritual. Lucas froze. Before he could protest, a massive door creaked open, revealing a dark circular arena. Warriors filled the stands, chanting in excitement. At the center of the arena stood a creature. It was huge, covered in black fur and gleaming claws. Its red eyes locked onto Lucas, and it growled. Lucas turned to Zalvera. Please tell me you're fighting it. Zalvera smiled. No, this is your trial, battle spouse. Lucas sighed deeply. Yep, he was definitely doomed. Lucas stared at the massive creature in the arena. It was at least 9 feet tall, covered in black fur, with red glowing eyes and teeth the size of his fingers. It let out a low growl, claws scraping against the stone floor. Lucas took a slow step back. Okay, so, funny story. I actually don't do gladiator fights. Zalvera stood at the edge of the arena, arms crossed, looking completely unbothered. It is not a fight. Lucas gave her a look. Oh, really? Because that thing looks like it wants to eat my face. Zalvera smirked. It is a test of skill, not death. Lucas pointed at the creature. Tell that to him. The elder warrior stepped forward, raising his hands to address the crowd. The trial of survival begins. The human must prove his strength, wit, or bravery. Lucas exhaled. All right, think, Lucas. Think. The creature let out a roar and charged. Lucas yelped and dove sideways just as giant claws tore into the ground where he had been standing. Okay, not dying. That's step 1, Lucas muttered. He scrambled to his feet, dodging another swipe. The warriors cheered from the stands, clearly enjoying the show. Zalvera's voice rang out. Use your mind, human. You cannot overpower it, so outsmart it. Lucas barely avoided getting slashed in half. Yeah, working on it. He spotted chains hanging from the ceiling, probably part of past fights. An idea formed. Lucas turned and ran. The creature roared and chased after him. Lucas zigzagged, dodging swipes and trying not to die. Then, at the last second, he jumped, grabbed a chain, and swung over the beast's head. The creature skidded to a stop, confused. Lucas landed behind it and yanked another chain loose. The heavy metal whipped around, wrapping around the creature's legs. The crowd gasped. The beast stumbled, growling in frustration. Lucas didn't hesitate. He yanked harder, using its own momentum against it. The creature lost its balance and crashed onto the ground with a thunderous boom. Silence. Then, cheers erupted. Lucas panted, hands on his knees. Ha, ha, did I just win? The elder warrior laughed. He did not kill it, but he used his mind. A true victory. Zalvera smirked. Clever. Lucas dropped onto the ground, exhausted. Cool. Great. Can I pass out now? Zalvera walked over and extended a hand. No, now we drink. Lucas groaned. Of course we do. The warriors cheered again, stomping their feet in approval. Lucas sighed as Calvera pulled him up. You know, for a diplomat, I sure do a lot of not diplomatic things. Calvera chuckled. Perhaps you were meant for something more. Lucas shook his head. At this rate, I'll be lucky if I survive the week. Calvera's golden eyes softened just slightly. You are stronger than you think, battle spouse. Lucas felt a strange warmth in his chest. He glanced at her, then quickly looked away. Don't start getting sentimental on me now. Calvera smirked. Come, you must prepare for tomorrow's challenge. Lucas stopped walking. I'm sorry, what? Calvera smiled. Did you think the trials were over? Lucas groaned. He was never getting off this planet, was he? Lucas sat by the great fire, staring at the roaring flames as warriors around him laughed, drank, and celebrated. His body ached everywhere, but he was still alive, which, at this point, felt like an achievement. Calvera sat beside him, looking completely relaxed. She sipped from her strange metallic cup, watching him with amusement. You fought well, she said. Lucas let out a tired chuckle. I didn't fight. I ran for my life. Calvera smirked. A wise warrior knows when to fight and when to use his mind. Lucas groaned. Great, so now I'm a wise warrior. Can a wise warrior go home now? Calvera's smirk faded. Lucas noticed. Wait, what? She turned to him, her golden eyes serious. You do not understand, Lucas. The trials were not only to test you. Lucas frowned. What do you mean? Calvera hesitated, then said that clan leaders were watching. They wanted to see if you were worthy of standing beside me. Lucas sat up. Wait, what? Calvera exhaled. I am not just a warrior. I am the heir to my people. Lucas blinked. You're a princess. Calvera scowled. Do not call me that. Lucas held up his hands. Okay, fine. But if you're next in line, that means... His stomach dropped. Oh no. Calvera nodded. Yes, you have earned the right to stay as my consort. Lucas choked on air. Siwo and Soori? The warriors around them laughed. The elder warrior raised his drink. A great match. The battle spouse will bring new strength to our clan. Lucas turned back to Calvera, panicking. I can't be a leader. I'm a translator. Calvera's eyes gleamed. Then you will be the first translator warrior in our history. Lucas groaned. I am so doomed. Calvera leaned in, her voice softer. Or you could leave. Lucas hesitated. I could. She nodded. If you truly wish to go, I will grant it. You have proven yourself. No one will stop you. Lucas looked around at the warriors, at the massive alien halls, at the firelit sky above. He had spent so much time fighting to survive that he hadn't stopped to think about what came next. He had planned to run the first chance he got. But now, he thought about the trials, the victories, the way Calvera had looked at him, not with doubt, but with respect. He thought about the way she had called him strong. Lucas swallowed. What happens if I stay? Calvera's expression didn't change. You will stand at my side, learn our ways, and one day fight beside me as an equal. Lucas exhaled. He had come here as a nobody, a translator stuck in the middle of an accident. But now, somehow, he was part of something bigger. And, against all logic, he kind of liked it. Lucas turned to Calvera and grinned. Well, guess I better start training, huh? Calvera's smirk returned. Good choice, battle spouse. The warriors cheered, raising their cups in celebration. Lucas sighed, shaking his head. Yep, he was never getting off this planet.